Hey guys, EC Network here, coming at you with another video. So something I've really never understood about Adult Swim is why is it on Cartoon Network? It's always been something kind of like a head scratcher to me of why doesn't Warner Media, Warner Brothers, why don't they make Adult Swim its own channel? Because I always felt like it had a big enough following to warrant it. And plus which fact, if you look over at like Nickelodeon, they have Teen Nick, which is obviously meant for an older audience. So it only makes sense for Cartoon Network to have their own channel for an older audience in the form of Adult Swim. But yet here we are in 2021 and Adult Swim has never gotten its own channel. It's basically been stuck on Cartoon Network since its inception, and I would say honestly over the past couple of years Adult Swim has been getting bigger and bigger. I don't know, I've just heard more people talk about Adult Swim over the past few years than I heard people talking about Adult Swim back in the early 2010s, because I just feel like in the early 2010s I never really heard anybody mention Adult Swim. It was kind of just like, oh yeah, it's that block that, airs at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock on Cartoon Network. And that was pretty much it. I don't really remember people talking about it that much, but over the past couple years, Adult Swim's gotten pretty big. Toonami obviously is a big factor in this, because a lot of people go on Adult Swim to watch Toonami on Saturday nights to watch different animes. But in addition to that, shows like Rick and Morty, when they brought back Samurai Jack on Adult Swim, even Primal, Genndy Tartakovsky's new show, I feel like all of that, in addition to other factors as well, have led to Adult Swim becoming bigger than it ever was, and I honestly really do think it warrants its own channel. If we look at the current landscape of Cartoon Network, the new schedule that was revealed to us a couple of weeks ago, we know that Cartoonito takes up 8 hours of the day, with Cartoon Network taking up 6 hours of the day, but then Adult Swim has a whopping 10 hours. That is the most time out of those 3 blocks on the network, so obviously Warner Media views Adult Swim as something they want to put heavy focus into, or at least get a lot of airtime. So if that is the case, doesn't Adult Swim then warrant its own channel if it's getting the most airtime on Cartoon Network? I think I said this in another video, but it's basically Adult Swim Network now, and Cartoon Network is a block on Adult Swim. That's basically what it's turned into, so why not just take Adult Swim and make it its own channel? Because this would kind of solve 2 issues here. The first thing is that, I've discussed this in other videos, is Cartoon Network, like I said, has the least amount of airtime out of the 3 blocks that are airing throughout the day on the channel, being Cartoonito and Adult Swim, and obviously the Cartoon Network. So if they don't want to make Cartoonito its own channel, which I've made a video saying it should be, and I'll leave a card above if you want to check that one out, but if they don't want to make Cartoonito into its own channel, then maybe they should make Adult Swim into its own channel, because there's proven success with Adult Swim. It's been around for a long time, and by doing this, you'd be fixing the airtime issue with Cartoon Network. So instead of Cartoon Network only getting 6 hours of airtime, Cartoon Network would then be getting 16 hours of airtime, and obviously Cartoonito would then remain at 8 hours, but Cartoon Network would then again have the majority of the schedule to itself, and then Adult Swim would have 24 hours of airtime, since it would be its own channel then. From a scheduling perspective, it makes sense for them to do this, but I don't think they're ever going to do this for a couple of reasons. Number one is, they haven't done it in all the years that Adult Swim has been on, so I feel like they're not going to just wake up one day and be like, yeah, why don't we make Adult Swim its own channel, even though it's been on Cartoon Network for all these years. And number two, which you've probably heard me say in many of my videos before, is just due to the current landscape when it comes to streaming and cable, I just don't see a company investing more money into another channel. Right now they want to invest more money into streaming because that is a direct source of revenue for them, instead of having to pay fees to cable providers to then get their network on the air. But I really don't think something like this is going to happen. Just like I said before, Adult Swim's been on Cartoon Network for such a long time. At this point, I feel like they're not going to make a big change like this. And also, too, something that's honestly a little bit interesting is, if you guys remember a couple years back when Final Space premiered, when we got the initial announcement for Close Enough, back in like 2017, I want to say, TBS was getting this big adult animation block. Which, if you think about it, maybe at that time it would have made more sense to make Adult Swim into its own channel, and then instead of greenlighting all these shows for TBS, you then greenlight them for Adult Swim. As we know, that TBS block failed, and Final Space has been airing on Adult Swim, and then Close Enough got delayed for such a long time that it ended up premiering on HBO Max. So honestly, if they were going to make Adult Swim its own channel, I feel like that would have been the time to do so, just because, like I said before, they were putting all this money into creating these original adult animated series, so I really feel like that would have been the time to do so, and honestly, it probably would have been a big success, because everyone would have seen, oh look, Adult Swim's putting all this financial resources into creating all these different new shows on Adult Swim, and they look pretty good, so maybe I'll go check out the new Adult Swim channel, but instead, they decided to make a block on TBS, and they decided to keep Adult Swim as a block on Cartoon Network. But anyways, let me know in the comment section below if you guys also think Adult Swim should be its own channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.